up on 64 Spruce Hill Road. So we are aware that there is a proposal for 40B at, I think, 269 North Avenue. We saw, I guess, the initial draft, it looked like, of the planning board's, at least, issues with the project. We just wanted to be here and let you know that ourselves, the Ullmans, who are abutters to us, the Balkans, are obviously have significant concerns about the project. We were pleased with your letter and your comment. We just want you to know that we are concerned and we'll just be monitoring the situation. Just wanted to let you know that.
Okay, good.
Great.
Thank you.
Same thing, Brian Johnson, 277 North Ave. I abut the property on a long stretch, and I agree it's too dense for that lot, and I have concerns around a lot of the things that you've listed out. It was really well written, but we just wanted to, I guess, express our support for the concerns that you've raised.
Okay. Actually, we're going to be reviewing those comments ourselves later on in the meeting. So,
Actually, you and I talked a while ago before the holidays, and since there was a deadline, I submitted it already.
okay.
And it was, what happened was, the applicants submitted it, then, and the board submitted comments at that point, and then they withdrew it, and then they resubmitted it again.
It's the
because
same applicants?
It's the
Right.
same
Oh.
applicants.
all right.
So
it is in fact the same project?
it is in fact the same project.
Okay. So
So,
our comments.
So all the comments
that we previously
Right,
issued, we're
right.
reissuing
right,
as a result of the
Right.
reapplication.
yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so.
So is there any benefit for us to stay? I mean, we wanted to at least let you know we're here. We also have been occurred. Would there be any benefit, or should we depart? I mean, what's your
There's
advice?
nothing on TV.
Okay. So will you be doing any further debating or discussion of the issues, or are you simply going to submit the report as?
Well,
as
the
is?
support will be submitted, I think the housing partnership is meeting tonight and then next week.
Yeah, we were invited to the meeting next Thursday of the housing partnership. Is that-
Yeah, there's a meeting to discuss the potential of doing a housing production plan.
Okay.
And I thought that there was also a meeting tonight. I could be wrong on that.
Well, can you just explain to us what the process is? I mean, your comments go to whom? Can you just explain to us the process?
This is a comprehensive permit process, which means that it will be submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals for review. It will either be submitted as what's known as a friendly 40B or a hostile 40B, depending on whether the selectmen agree to support the application or not. So at some point it gets presented to this, well, it goes through the housing partnership. The housing partnership, as I understand it, will make recommendations to the selectmen. The selectmen will either decide to support it or not. Then if it's not a friendly 40B, then the applicant will have the choice of whether or not to submit it as a hostile 40B, but in either case, hostile or friendly, it goes to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a comprehensive permit. And the comments from other town boards like ours get submitted to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the Zoning Board of Appeals then reviews it with a view to issuing a comprehensive permit or not, with conditions. So that's kind of the process in a nutshell.
So if the developer is interested, would their best approach be to try to take your comments, at least try to remediate their plan along the line of your comments, at least if they wanted to go forward?
Yeah, I mean, the state also has to approve the application. It has to approve the site as being appropriate. It has to approve the project as being appropriate. This is my personal take on it. This is not in any way official. My personal take on it is that for a project this small with no more than 2 affordable units, the state doesn't typically support hostile 40Bs. It's not really enthusiastic about 40B projects this small because the effort and cost involved doesn't really make sense for 2 affordable units. It's, you know, it's kind of a losing proposition. So I think there is an issue there as to whether the state will even accept it as an appropriate project. So it's got a number of steps to go through.
Yeah, and I think in their plan, they only have one affordable unit, right? They have 4 market and 1 affordable.
That's true.
Is there only one?
There's
Yeah,
only one.
You're
Then
kidding.
even more of a long shot, because for one affordable unit, all of the time involved, the effort, the expenses,
The monitoring,
for one unit
long-term.
of affordable
Yeah.
housing, it's a challenge, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we know that, we've been here 25 years, and as you know, there was a previous developer on that. As you know, there's a sordid history of that area. So, and obviously our concerns were the same people involved, because if I look at the architectural plans of the buildings, they are virtually identical to what was submitted 6 years ago. The names of those people are on some of these documents, which we found stunning, because I don't know why their names would be on these documents, since they should have no standing, since they've been out of the property, since they were foreclosed on in 2009. So there were just certain things that concerned us, more than maybe the average. So anyway, you're aware of us, and if, we will attend the next meeting next week. So we're gonna, I think, basically go back to our homes, and thank you for listening to us, and we appreciate all your help.
Just
So
one other
what-
Thank you. Sure,
comment.
please.
40B projects let applicants off the hook for compliance with zoning regulations. But for non-zoning regulations, such as conservation regulations, that sort of thing, they're not off the hook. There are some issues that aren't related to the zoning that impact this site, so.
Well, they have a lot of drainage off the hill, they have the wetlands.
There's that, but there's also the fact that it's a scenic road.
Now, they wrote in the application, they said that it had not been designated as a scenic road. Are they incorrect?
Not yet.
Not,
The
well,
AG's office has to approve it.
but it's, until
a
the AG
scenic-
office approves it, it's been submitted and voted on at town meeting prior to this application.
I see, so you believe it would be, they wouldn't be doing ex post facto if it gets approved, that it would be designated as a scenic.
It's it'll be, the AG will approve it. In any case, it's frozen until the AG approves it or doesn't. So, assuming that the AG approves it, then they need a permit for any
Okay, so that would be
modification in
difficult.
the stone wall and trees in the right of way and all.
Now, we're aware, now, if you don't, we're aware that there was a prior couple that did own that property, and there was some attempt to build a single-family home there. But but apparently it was, I guess it was fairly difficult. Can you give us any insight on
Do you
that
remember?
process at all?
It was Paul McMahon.
No, this was after Paul Miller.
After Paul McMahon. Oh, yeah, that was the, I remember that one.
It was Mr.
That was the
Ewald,
guy
wasn't
that, it was sort of back in the lot
Yeah.
at the beginning of the slope. And we went through, there were like 2 or 3 hearing sessions on that one. I remember
Yeah.
that application.
Is
I don't know what happened to him.
2002, 2003?
Well, they all, yeah, and then they ultimately sold, per the application, they ultimately sold, I think, in 2012 then to Polymath, who's been sitting on the property, it looks like for a couple of years. I mean, that's our sense of what happened. They went from the McMahons to these folks. I guess that McMahon's got foreclosed on by the bank then sold to these folks. Mr. Yu, I think, and his wife, or it looked like they were in a quick claim deed. And then around 2012, Polymath bought their business. But we were told they did try to get a couple of plans submitted, but for whatever reason, they chose not to go forward. Do you think, I mean, given the difficulty of that lot, I mean, what do you think the best use is? I mean, can a single-family home be built there? It can, it just needs to not be in the wet area and maybe.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, again, this is the one that's currently vacant, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that one, that's because it burned down.
Yes.
And
then torn
McMahon
down.
owned it.
Yes, we were there the night it was burned down.
Yeah.
Yes. And his house was also owned by Mr. McMahon, which accidentally flooded. And
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yes.
And
I do remember that, yeah.
The house is still standing, it's gutted on the inside.
Yes, well, this is
Everything
Mr. Johnson's
out.
house, and then he rebuilt the house.
It's not good now, we do.
Not gutted, excellent,
They
okay.
repaired it. So the home that burned, that land has been vacant since
Yeah,
2009.
and as I say, we had at least one applicant for a single-family
Correct.
home on that house, and I think the planning board went through the whole process and issued a decision that would have allowed him to go ahead.
Yeah, okay, all right. All right, but you do believe that scenic designation will go through, that seems to be relevant. Okay,
Yeah.
so that creates issues. All right,
The house that burned down, I believe it was a two-family at one point.
Could have been.
If they had proposed a two-family, it's been gone for a long time now, right?
Yeah, the use
Wouldn't have-
is no longer grandfathered, if that's the
Right.
question. It burned down 10 years ago, something like that?
no, 2009.
9?
Yeah.
So 5 years, was it that?
Yeah.
Was it really
Recent.
Yeah,
only 2000?
yeah. Is it a 5-year rule, or is it?
Well,
I think it's three.
Courtney was still here, because he issued
Yeah.
a permit to tear it down before it got inspected.
Yeah.
Yes, we remember, that was interesting, the house burned, but the garage did not.
I think it's a 3-year sunset on the use.
Got it.
That's the
That was
use.
2 years.
2 years.
If you have
But it could-
catastrophic situations, 2
It could be
years.
delayed.
Yeah.
All right. And then what in terms of access? I mean, they were proposing a driveway, which really to us looked like a street, and they were gonna have 5 houses. And as you know, that's a fairly, 117 is a fairly busy. Can you just have a street with 1 lane for 5 houses? Because we're very concerned about people coming in. If you're trying to go in at the
You
same
mean
time.
like a
as
little
you're trying to
dead
get
end?
out. Basically, that's what they
It's like 20
propose.
feet wide,
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's a dead end, it's
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
yeah.
yeah.
Would that be allowed? I mean, that just seemed to be problematic in terms of the safety concerns.
Well, traffic would be one of the, if it got to the point where we're talking
Yeah.
about details like
Yeah.
traffic impacts and parking and.
And proximity to other intersections
Right.
and everything else. I mean,
All right, but if we
yeah.
were considering buying a lot ourselves, which we might do, the best, to us, the best use of that is to build a single-family home.
Mhm.
But there are limits as to how far you can go back because of the hill and the water issues. Is that your read of it?
That's right.
Okay. Because obviously, people don't want to be right on the 117 if they can avoid it. You know, that's the issue, because it's a fairly deep lot, although a lot of it goes up the hill. And I think there's a lot of ledge up there.
Mhm.
And we live at the top of the hill in essence, so we see the water ourselves and the water issues we have. All right.
Yeah, but you know, with some artful architecture and respect of the
It could be done.
landscape, you could have.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
The trouble is people want to put in a 10,000 square foot house because they want to be able to make their money out of it.
I'm shocked.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess one
Go
other
ahead.
question,
Go ahead.
I mean, could they get a variance to build the two-family again, as far as?
Could you get a variance? It's a use variance, which I think is not, I don't think that ZBA can grant a use variance.
As far as something that have less of a,
Because that would drive
It's a use
economics.
variance anyway.
less of an
That's not
impact
emotional
on the
variance.
neighborhood than 5.
Yeah.
No idea.
That would have a lot less effect on the neighborhood, I guess.
I don't think the ZBA is empowered to grant use variances. I mean, that's the purpose of
Is
the
the
zoning.
sunset provision 3 years, 5? Do you know what exactly the sunset is?
2 years of.
2, okay, so it is past the sunset. All right, yeah, because even a 2-family might make more economic sense, but you're saying it's basically not.
I'm not, I actually don't know.
Not you, but within the
Yeah.
context of what your knowledge base is.
I
I have
I
no idea.
don't think the zoning board of appeals is empowered to grant use variances, because that essentially makes it spot zoning.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I mean, is there any other way to?
But we,
What's that?
I mean, we can do change of use.
Change of use.
Right. I mean, the planning board's can do change of use.
But we couldn't.
Are we allowed to?
We couldn't authorize a two-family house in a single-family
So how do you get a
zone.
two-family authorized? You can. In
I
a
don't-
certain
Have to
zoning
change
districts,
the-
you're out.
Change
That's
the
it.
zoning.
You'd have to
Just-
change the zoning.
You'd have to do
What would
spot
that,
zoning.
is that a very complex process to change the zoning?
It's going to town meeting.
Town meeting, and you couldn't do it for one lot.
Got it.
Yeah.
Couldn't ask for a one-off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the two-family went down with the house burn.
All right, anything?
That's it?
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Stay warm.
We'll try.
Yeah, good to see you, Dave.
Oh, I
Nice to
did
see you,
check,
Paul.
there's a housing trust meeting tonight, it's housing partnership next Thursday.
Yeah, that's what we'll get. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Nice to meet you.
Bye-bye.